Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. It's Gord, your hurtin' hippie, coming to you on this hump day from my studio. I'm here to talk to you all about what unites us. What unites us? Why? Because there is more that unites us than divides us. But all you hear today is what is dividing us. What are we supposed to be angry about? And it kind of hit me a little harder than usual this morning because I was looking for a subject and I had written this subject down for quite a while. But really, a subject has to come to fruition in my mind because I don't make many notes. I go by my gut. I hold my chest and talk about my gut, but you know what I mean. And then this morning, I'm reading a little bit of the news that is given to me. You know, my phone gives me stuff. And let me just give you, I'll back it up a little bit. Just recently, Trump negotiated a deal, the first peace treaty between Israel and an Arab partner in years and years and years and years. A huge deal. Peace in the Mideast. It was bad enough we haven't heard of the huge withdrawal of troops and the end of the war against ISIS and all that. You don't hear about it because it props up a right-wing president and therefore is against the narrative, my friends. But he did this, and then I've been watching for Trump gets Peace Prize. Trump gets Peace Prize. Finally, today I see, but the story is about the person who nominated Trump. Far-right Norwegian. And I'm not kidding. I hope that shows. But it says, Norwegian far-right MP nominates Trump for Peace Prize. So they can't even say, hey, he's been nominated. They have to tell you, maybe you should question the nomination because this guy comes from the far right. What is hurting the world today? The protests, the troubles, the far left pushing anger at the state. Anyways, those are things that divide us. There was something that could have united us. A president that some people think is wrong and divisive, doing something very peace-oriented. That's why they don't want to promote it. And now that they actually have to carry the story, they have to carry it with an addendum. And that's what I want to talk about, my friends. Politics divides us. Race is dividing us. People who say it's a racist world are the people who are dividing us because most of us do not think about the race of the person next to them, around them. Most of us just do not. It is such a minute piece of the world that thinks this. And do we need to stomp that out? Oh, yes. And over time it will. I always said, like Ben Shapiro, if you see something that is specifically racist, and point it out, bring it up, tell everybody, and I'll fight right along your side to end that. Give me specifics, and I'll be glad to jump on that bandwagon. But just everyone is blank, I don't fall for that. I don't do that. Every protest I've ever been in my life had a specific goal at the end of the protest. And the goal wasn't just educate people about something that's wrong, because if something's wrong, if you don't give them the direction it needs to go for being right, then a bunch of people are carrying signs and not knowing where to go. You know what I mean? What we need to do, since our media won't, our media used to look for things that would unite us, things that we would enjoy, because if it's something that unites us, it's something that will get a lot of attention and therefore clicks and therefore, ratings, whatever you want to call it. Cheers. So that's what they used to do. Yes, there was news. And then the rest was entertain people, make them happy, make them scared, make them need to hug somebody else. And now even our entertainment has been pushed to the point of it's no longer entertainment. It is, let's make people angry. Let's make people fight. Let's make people not like their neighbor or distrust them. It's hard to find things that unite us. I mean, I pointed that out, but if I just go, give me the news. The very first thing talks about Big Brother, and one of them, their grandpa died. So that's not too big. But then Mark Levin, diabolical Democratic Party has no qualms using people it used to abuse to gain power. Divisive. Very next. Talking about some U.S. open line judge that did something wrong. Then 5 more schools in my area got COVID. Justice Department seeks to defend Trump's defamation case. I didn't see anything there that was meant to uplift. Nothing. It wasn't as divisive because for the last week or so, I've been saying less of this, less of this, less of this. And if I saw something neat and fun, more of this. And it's slowly starting to beat the algorithm. Beat that algorithm. That algorithm, it's not the same everywhere. I know algorithms. I used to develop them. I used them in my dealings with CP Rail. But they aren't all the same, but they all tend to do the same sort of thing, is to filter. If this, then that, else do this. That's what an algorithm is. It's basic programming, and it's filtering and deciding where information needs to go, if it needs to go anywhere. And the algorithm of life today is get people mad. So we need to break that algorithm by sharing the positivity. What are things that okay, I mentioned the things that divide us: politics, information, data, but almost everything is being used against us, things that used to be positive. What are things that used to unite us? I actually printed something that says we used to unite through creative art, food and drink, music, concerts, celebrations, dance, sport, comedy, hobbies. Now let's start at the back. Hobbies. Now, if you've got a good hobby, good. Put it on YouTube and celebrate it. Celebrate it. Let people join with you. I don't see so much of it anymore. There's a little bit, but it doesn't seem to get the clicks that it used to. Comedy used to unite us, make us laugh, put our arms around each other and laugh, get together and watch a comedy show and laugh. We used to get together every Tuesday night to watch, when I was young, with my guys, with my band. We'd get a little bit high and watch Monty Python's Flying Circus every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Higher than a kite. So comedy was a uniter. Lately, look at Dave Chappelle, a left-leaning person who is slamming the left in his comedy. It is divisive. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's divisive. Most comedians now either You either love him or you hate him. It's not the Robin Williams kind of, hey, maybe I don't like his politics, but man, he's funny. No, it's kind of either I like him or I hate him. Sport. We can't go to any sporting events anymore, but most sports seems to make people very angry now, where we used to have good little kids kidding with each other. You know, like I live in a province that has two major cities, Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton's the capital, Calgary's a little bit bigger. And we've had such a rivalry between the two cities, and it's good. And that kind of we're united through a mutual distaste for each other. Again, that's what I mean. We've got to start calling bullshit when they take those things like comedy and use it to separate us. Use it to say, hey, look at this one guy. He's an idiot. He's saying this. We need to point back and say, it was a joke. He's a comedian. They don't mean anything behind what they say. They just simply want to say what they want to say to either get some shock out of you or make you laugh or make you cry. That's what comedy is. We need, my friends, to start calling bullshit when they try to divide us with something that is uniting. I have a hard time with this, friends. News is so toxic. News used to be something you did for an hour a day, maybe, especially adults. I remember being young and saying, why do we gotta watch the news, Dad? It's good to be informed. But now it seems like news is 24/7. The cycle is never ending. And because they have 24/7 news to throw at us, they either keep throwing the same thing until it sticks. Well, that's all they do. Sorry, I was going to say either or, and I can't think of an or. They're throwing the same thing at us every hour, on the hour. Trump, hate, liberal, love. And this is totally anti-political. This is, start calling bullshit and saying, hey, could you give us something else? There is more good news in this world than there is bad news. There are more people who survived COVID than people who did not. You know? I want to leave on that thought because it just came into my mind. Is all we ever hear about is who died from COVID. But we don't hear about these wonderful stories of the people who made it through. And we don't hear about the people who don't even get it, because that destroys the narrative of fear and loathing and disgust. And therefore we need our politicians to look after us. Break free, friends. Break free. And now it's time for... Yes, little known facts. I appreciate the feedback on this part of my show. I enjoy doing it. It takes a fair amount of investigation, so I appreciate the appreciation. Now, pitter patter, get at her, Gord. Lobsters. I've covered this before, but it's worth doing it again. Lobsters used to be so aplenty that they were prison food. Yes, lobster was also known as the poor man's meal because the overabundance of these guys made it easy for people with no money to get their protein. In fact, the crustaceans were fed to prisoners, apprentices, and slaves. Lobster actually became one of the most popular canned products on the market. And I don't even remember canned lobster. Weird, but true. I looked it up. And tomato. You'd be surprised at this. I'd like comments below. the tomato is native to North America, and so there was no tomato sauce in Italy prior to the 1600s. Yes, before tomatoes, the Italian diet was largely similar to the diet throughout the rest of the Mediterranean. Breads, pastas, olives, and beans were staples, and Italians made a variety of different types of polenta. But there wasn't tomato sauce. That's unusual. I did not know this. And I've mentioned this once before, but I thought I'd do it again. Ew. Dentures, my friends. Dentures were once made from human and or animal teeth. The earliest records of dentures is from around 7th century, when Etruscans fashioned dentures from animal teeth. The art ended with their civilization, but it re-emerged in the 1700s, making dentures from animal, prisoner teeth, and other such humans. Wow. You heard it here, maybe first, but you heard it here best. Cheers. Friends, now time for me to go and get busy and edit this for all of you. And remember, stay tuned tomorrow. Live show. Peace.